Let me guess, you're probably here because you're spending more time tracking your meals rather than actually enjoying them. Or maybe you just can't get the hang of tracking. But fear not, we're gonna go over all the ins and outs of tracking your calories using MyFitnessPal so you can get the most out of tracking. So let's get straight into my top 9 tips that are gonna make tracking calories feel effortless. If this is your first time here, my name's Adam Scott Murad. I'm a certified and registered performance nutritionist and online coach. Number 1, setting your own calorie and macro targets. MyFitnessPal is like the slightly overbearing aunt of the fitness world. It means well, but its generic macro and calorie recommendations are just not gonna cut it. I suggest using this free online calculator to calculate your calories using the Mifflin St. Jean formula. So once you worked out your calories, what you wanna do is you wanna enter them in the goals section like this. Then when it comes to proteins, fats, and carbs, you wanna toggle the protein until it gets to around 0.8 grams per pound of your body weight in protein. So if you haven't worked that out, work that out now, get it to that level, and then you can play around with carbs and fats. It's up to you whether you go higher carb or lower carb. Long-term research has shown there's no significant difference between the two in terms of fat loss. Number 2 is turning off step adjustments. So you've been through a day, you've tracked your calories diligently, you're patting yourself on the back, and then MyFitnessPal is literally telling you to eat back the calories you've burned. So you listen, your progress is derailed and you're left wondering why, because after all, you're tracking your calories. You want to go in and turn this off. You don't want to eat back the calories you burn, because when you worked out your calories using the formula online, you also factored in your activity level, which is the amount of exercise you do in a week. So that's already factored in. You don't want to add in the calories through steps. Number 3, use the search bar for whole food ingredients and chain restaurants. When it comes to accurate calorie tracking, you want to look out for the green check mark. This is a verified food or a verified meal. It could be from a chain restaurant or it could be a single ingredient food, but this is going to help you get a more accurate number. Let's say you're out on a go and you're grabbing some food. Search MyFitnessPal, see if you can find it, and make sure the portion sizes add up. When you do that, you can pretty much accurately track on the go. We've all been there. You're at a family gathering with a spread of delicious yet untrackable dishes. You feel like tracking is pointless. This is where a website like Calorie King can be a secret weapon. You simply estimate the calories and macros based on similar dishes you can find in Calorie King. Then you use the quick add option in MyFitnessPal to log it. It's not an exact science, but it's better than nothing, and it will help you over time gauge portion sizes. Number 5 is get a food scale and measure everything in grams. Look, it's time to ditch the spoons and cups and join us in the 21st century. A weighing scale is going to make measuring even more accurate. By measuring your portions in grams, you eliminate the guesswork and ensure that every calorie actually counts. Plus, you'll save time and energy by not having to play the how many tablespoons are in a cup game. Make sure what you're tracking matches the label and don't just go for any option that comes up. Here, when you're cooking, you want to make sure you're weighing your meat and fish raw and tracking it raw. This gives a more accurate measurement. Let's say you're cooking in bulk for meal prep. What you can do is weigh it raw initially, like the chicken or the meat or the fish, whatever it is, and then weigh it once cooked and divide it by the number of servings that you want to create. Number 6 is weighing your food deficits. This may blow your mind or may not. What you want to do here is you actually want to weigh what you take out of jars and containers rather than what you put on your plate. This simple shift can help you track calories even more accurately. Number 7 is creating meals and recipes. This is a huge time saver, especially if you're like me, and you'll probably find that you are, and you eat the same foods over and over and over and over again. You can create meals or recipes. It's up to you. By taking just a few minutes just to input your frequently consumed foods into the app and creating meals or recipes, you'll completely streamline this process. Whether it's your go-to breakfast oats or your signature chili recipe, either way, having these staples readily available on the app will make logging that much easier. If you change up the recipe slightly, you'll be able to make the adjustments in the diary. Meals are more for things you just put together, like maybe some overnight oats, and recipes are more for things that maybe contain multiple servings. Imagine you make like 10 servings of overnight oats. You probably won't, but you make 5 servings for the week. Then you could save that as a recipe, and then you know how much each serving will contain in terms of grams, so you know how much to put on your plate. Number 8 is tweaking other settings. MyFitnessPal has some features that may make tracking even easier for you. You can utilize the food history to quickly log your staples. You can even organize your food history in a way that makes it easier for you. There are a few options here, but I like the most frequent filter. Number 9 is tracking your food before or after you eat. It's tempting to track while you're eating, but then that takes away the enjoyment and the experience of actually eating. So I actually suggest to track before you cook or after you cook. I actually have a preference for tracking like while I'm preparing my food. This just gets it out of the way, and it means that I know like how many calories I'm getting while I'm eating. Some days when I do prep in advance, I will maybe even track for like 2 days in a row in advance, so I know what I'm getting. Remember, the overall goal with tracking is to enhance your relationship. It's not to add another layer of stress, and it's not a forever thing. It's a gateway to be able to intuitively eat. Number 10, a bonus tip. For those of you that have the pro version, you can actually scan the barcodes of foods you buy in the supermarket. I don't actually have the pro version, so I can't actually show you properly, but what you would do is you'd press the barcode option, like so, and you would scan the food labels or the actual barcode even of the food you buy in the supermarket. This makes tracking even easier. Be sure to check that what you scan matches up. You always should actually check whatever you're entering matches up with the actual thing that you're about to eat. Because let's face it, it's not perfect, it's a great tool, and you have to just be aware of like what you're actually putting into the app and what you're actually tracking. This was a lot of information to digest, yes, pun intended, but I hope it helps you. I hope it helps you figure out MyFitnessPal and just get more familiar with MyFitnessPal as a tracking app. Like I said, this is not a lifetime thing. If you commit to this for like 2 to 3 months, you'll be in a far better place than the person that just outright says tracking doesn't work. Any questions at all, comment below. Deeper questions, send me a message on Instagram at AdamScottFit. Have the best day ever, and we'll talk soon.